And then also, campaigns that are creating something that's like enhancing your life, so making things memorable. And I was just in Sydney on Sunday night, which was the night of the YouTube Symphony Orchestra. So this was a competition. It's sort of it's the second time we've done this, but this is in the Sydney Opera House in Australia. And what they did was they had a composer create a piece of music. Then they put all the music online, so like, you could play bass or piccolo or oboe or guitar, all these things, and you were able to practice, and then you could upload your audition. So they had a video of the conductor actually conducting the piece of music, and you were watching that video, and then you were playing along with it. You'd upload that, and the best musicians, 101 musicians, were flown from all around the world. I think it was like 30 countries or so, all coming together to play this piece of music together. So it was quite a fascinating thing. And I think this is also in that same category, this whole piece of interaction, as I mentioned, what we saw in like 2011. So the things, I won't play these, but like, the Expendables movie launch where they were sort of blowing up the rest of the YouTube page, for example. And then also the Tipex thing, which is like, I can't shoot this bear, if you've sort of seen this promotion as well. But these are basically these things where you just simply can't do them on TV. It's like, it's one of those things that's part of digital, be able to have that kind of lean forward interaction. And then it's also about extending the experience, so getting people to join in. So I thought I'd show this one because it's a really interesting example of what people have done. So this is Conan O'Brien, who's got a comedy show. But what he did was he had this thing called the Live Coco Cam, which is they just set up a webcam in kind of like this little foyer area of their office. And it's amazing what happened with all the media. So like the news media was following this like really tremendously. So I'll just pull this up.
Conan O'Brien and his team Coco
has nothing to hide and is letting fans
into their world via the web.
Team Coco now running 24/7.
Get ready for the Coco Cam.
Coco Cam.
Coco Cam.
Coco Cam.
A video camera set up a stairwell streaming live, and it began yesterday. There's Dancing Taco.
Dancing Taco actually took requests from the fans on the Twitter.
Dr. Darkheart wants to see the Running Man. Mr. Darkheart, here it is.
That'd be a good Halloween costume.
The camera is sitting in a stairwell. The staff is providing the entertainment, as you can see.
It featured the 80s aerobics gals.
Dogs, or a guy in a dog suit playing poker.
A couple was eating dinner.
Binge eating contest. What's going on? Oh, it's the zombies. The zombies are attacking. There's a little odd nude painting there.
Why Conan O'Brien is playing punishment bingo? What are you doing? What is that guy doing? Do you see this, Raoul?
So those are people in bear suits who are doing aerobics. We're not quite sure why they're doing it this morning.
What is this?
So what I think is really amazing about this example is how much free media was received from this. I mean, this is like the television channels just want to, there's always something interesting happening. So again, I think that's a great example of what we were talking about at the beginning of invention. Like here, they're using YouTube to kind of do a new thing, which is to do this. But then what that's done in terms of generating all the additional media. So I think a great example of using
So I'll tell you
these different medium. So let's then, it's just the last couple things. So in terms of, successful campaigns can do these things. And one of the newer kind of trends and kind of innovations that's happening from the YouTube perspective is this distributed engagement. So this is something that one of the more recent movie launches just at the end of last year was sort of the first to do this. So it's like, having one presence online managed from one location, but in many places. So with The Tourist, this is the Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie movie, which was from the middle of December. So this is the YouTube page. And so you can see they've got like, the movie and the trailers and stuff and all of the real-time updates from all the different things. But what they also did was this exact same experience was transported to different locations on the web. So for example, that's the Facebook page. The Facebook page is basically the entire same managed interface, but within the frame of Facebook. So they can go facebook.com/thetourist and come to this, but have this fully managed from different locations. So the same type of experience just right there, which I think is one of those trends that we're certainly going to see forward, which is like managing kind of things from a central location, but then seeing it getting distributed across all the places where people are. And also this is also possible with our mobile technologies to actually have this available on all different platforms. So for example, having this across all of the different platforms in different places. So now the last thing I'd like to sort of conclude with is just thinking about how there's so much data out there now, how this stuff is really kind of driving what's happening and where the internet's going. So the thing is that pretty much everything today is measurable, right? So even reading a newspaper is pretty much, lots of people doing that online now, of course, as well. And I think with all this data, it's like trying to extract the insights that are valuable, because there's a flood of information out there. How do you actually start extracting things? So I thought I might just start like as an example. So here's a really interesting kind of Google Maps kind of mashup, which is showing maps underneath here, but Netflix, which is movie rentals online. But it's actually showing in each one of the different cities that this is happening. Like, what are the most popular movies rented in each one of these, each one of these postcodes. So it's interesting, like even the academic world is getting involved in this and looking at and sort of saying, well, the differences between what people are looking at in what they're renting in one postcode versus another is starting to expose lots of interesting things. And also what's happening in terms of using those same type of maps and things to have people look for content in different ways. This is using maps and YouTube, because what it's doing is showing the maps, and this is real estate, and then being able to jump in and actually look at full reviews of places, like panoramic views of that as well. So using a video to help that happen. So I thought I'd show you a very interesting graph. So this is kind of like data coming from different locations. Now what this is it's showing water consumption in Edmonton, Canada. So this is a city in Canada during the Olympic gold medal hockey games. So the hockey, of course, is the national sport in Canada, and it was Canada versus the U.S. in the finals of the Olympics. So the green trace is showing you the night before. So that's kind of like just the baseline of like how much water people are using. So now what you can see at the beginning of this graph, and that sort of purpley line, is there's more people in the kitchen and in the bathroom here. Yeah. Than normal. Like that's 20 megaliters of difference, so it's a huge amount of water. Then here's the face-off. So now it drops 40 megaliters as pretty much everyone goes into the family room and sits in front of the TV to watch. Yeah. Then we go through, and then at the end of the first period, everyone at the exact same time gets off the couch and goes to the bathroom, and then comes back to watch the next one. And then, of course, there's the second period, the third period. Look, now we're like 100 megaliters down by the time we get to like the third period. Then everyone in the bathroom again, and then we get down to here, and so Canada wins right here, and then everyone who couldn't hold it any longer runs to the bathroom and comes back again for the medal ceremony. Because, of course, since it's the national sport, everyone wanted to be there to celebrate, the medals and everything as well. And then, of course, the big surge of everyone who was able to hold it finally coming back. And then you can see it comes right back to almost exactly the same as the night before. So I think what's really interesting here is looking at this data makes you realize it's like, well, if I was advertising on television, I would have been paying a premium to be on TV the night of the final. When in actual fact, if I could have spent less the night before and gotten more of an impression share of people in the city. So I think it's just interesting to see how data can change the value proposition of what's happening in these different channels. So speaking of TV, this is a quote from Mark Thompson, who's from the BBC in the UK. He's said, so they're less than 5 years away from fully configurable TV. And actually we're sort of already kind of there with different things that are happening. So one of the things that we've most recently done kind of in the States is started to work with different providers. So this is Sony, and we've created this sort of first Google TV. So just talking about the experience into the future. So here I'm watching live television. I've just taken a video of it. And on the remote control, I can hit like the home button. So it takes me to the home page here. And I can go straight into different areas. So for example, I'll just click onto YouTube. And now on YouTube, we have this feature which is called the lean back. So lean back experience, can like sit on the couch. So you can see there's no Chrome around, it's just the video content. And I can look at different playlists and find out all different things. And then also, I'm logged into this device as just like it's like an Android device, operating system. So it's actually synchronized to all of my content. So here, that's an application. So like this is my gallery of all my pictures that are up on Picasa, and it's fully synchronized. I didn't have to do anything, and all of this information is available right there. So it's this interesting kind of integration of all of these things that are creating a new experience in the home. So I thought what I'd also do is show you, speaking of Android moving in that direction, I don't know again if we can get the lights turned down, like maybe almost off, or at least on the stage, so you can get rid of kind of the fuzzy, the white on here. Sorry to be making instantaneous requests while. But what you can see here is this is showing Android activations across the time frame. Now this is activations meaning literally the phones being activated for the first time.